Sometimes people want to feel like they know everything, but no one knows everything. We can only know what we are ready to know, and we can't understand something unless we have experienced it. By allowing ourselves to learn through personal experience, we then learn to follow our own intuitive guidance, and we then reclaim our own individual power. A balanced mindset means that we combine our personal experience with reason, our intuition with logic.
You know, the consciousness movement has led us to create a kind of a hybrid spirituality that is mixed with a very toxic degree of narcissism. And we need to look at that. It has made us very hypersensitive and not very strong. I would say to you, what has it made us conscious of? Because if it made us that conscious of the world, we wouldn't be in the state we're in. We've lost our civil rights. We dropped the ball. We dropped the ball on the management of the Earth's creatures, and we've got 150 chimps left. What have we become conscious of these last 50 years? Where have we been? We've been processing wounds. I know people who say, I'm working to become conscious, but I won't look at the TV and I won't read the news. Then what are you becoming conscious of? Myself. Now I have to tell you something. That's exactly the formula through which you cannot heal. You cannot heal. Can you understand that? That kind of narcissism is the classic formula for fueling your own rage. Your own rage. Narcissism, and it's about me. It's about me. It's about my time, my space, my needs, my this, my wounds, my this. I have to tell you that the ungenerous heart and the narcissist go to the hospital and get your meds. Because you cannot, it is not possible to find yourself healing from the serious disorders that require an emergence into a cosmic level of consciousness.
You're shaping yourself up to be, must be good at mental chess. It's just that you don't want the chess game to own you. I don't know. With me, you'll never know, but there's your chess game coming out.
Chess training game.
I know you want to get better at chess. You are looking to learn something new. Everyone is struggling to find the most effective way to improve. It is easy to lose yourself in thousands of available online lessons and books. Imagine this. Within a few months, you can increase your rating by 300 points. You begin to defeat all chess players at your local chess club. You begin to win the tournaments.
So, at 19 years old, I walk into the woods. Here's this body that he has put there. And so I'm having sex with this corpse, and he's getting off on it. Like, by this point, he had taken the knife and taken a huge slice of this guy's leg off of his thigh muscle and was just chewing on it. Because he was cannibalistic as well.
One who is fabricating the story. You're making up the fiction yourself. But homo fictus, fiction man, story man, that's about equally accurate. Man is a storytelling animal.
Based off of this game. I'll give you an example. Years ago, when I was about 19, I was on a date with a guy and I asked him these questions. Now, This guy told me that his favorite animal was a butterfly because they're always gorgeous. They never show up unless you want them to show up. They're silent. Sounds like a match made in heaven, right?
Gain more power. You know, I mean, here's the thing about psychology. If you just go online and you just Google a bunch of stuff and you just list it and then get on, you know, start a YouTube channel and just, you know, read off of, you know, pages of psychology, you're going to have all sorts of people show up and go, oh my gosh, my life was changed. And then they'll make you interesting, especially if you dress all sexy. It's not that difficult. She's not a psychologist. Okay? And the danger with it is that when you use a field of science, the hard work of real licensed therapists, okay, and you tape their flower petals on you like a phony flower, and then people start believing you, then once you've built their trust through plagiarizing that science or pretending to be a psychologist, then they'll follow you in all the other weird shit that you say. That's the danger of it.
If you're watching this video, chances are you've heard of projection. You've been in that scenario where you're looking at someone who's upset at you thinking, isn't that just the pot calling the kettle black? Or you've been in that situation where someone looks at you and says, you're just projecting. But the thing is, most of us don't know the mechanisms behind projecting. We don't know why we do it or how to stop, which is, of course, why we're having this discussion today. We are born whole, but that wholeness is short-lived. It's short-lived because we are born relationally dependent. To be born relationally dependent in a family that is not fully evolved yet because society is not fully evolved yet spells immense trouble. It means that we're about to learn that certain aspects of ourselves are acceptable and certain aspects of ourselves are unacceptable. And this is where the trouble starts. What is acceptable versus unacceptable depends upon the family you're born into. The aspects of us that are seen as unacceptable, both positive and negative, are rejected by our family, and the aspects that are seen as acceptable are accepted by our family. In the name of survival, we do anything we can to disown and deny and suppress those aspects of ourselves that are disapproved of, and exaggerate those that are approved of.
Explain a bit more of why we're doing this interview and how it came about, because it's not actually just about Teal, it's about cults and belief systems and how we end up getting stuck in them, what our psychology is like before we end up in this situation, and after, because we tend to go into one belief system after another or one cult after another, as Cameron also experienced as well, and she's going to share it. So this is a lot like damage prevention and understanding the road or the potholes a mile away so you don't have to go down that road. It's not bashing or anything like that, but we decided to use Teal as an example because what I have discovered about Teal has been really disturbing and appalling and dangerous, quite frankly, and it must be stopped. She must be stopped, and also her Tealers as well. I think people need to know what is going on and why so many people are afraid to speak up and expose this as well, because it seems like we let a lot of things, terrible things just happen, let people get away with it, mainly because we don't speak up, because we're too afraid, and now because of the new age kind of thinking, it's we consider it negative. You know, we always want to be positive, we always have to build everybody up, but not when they're doing something dangerous that very few people can see because they don't want to see. So I mean, we
Enormous pit so as to not start a forest fire, this huge pit in the ground, and we threw the body in there and then burnt this body, which took forever. We were out there for a really long time.
Teaching me as an authority, some sort of authority on knowing me. It's like, no, you're not an authority. You're a silly person pretending to be to know stuff that you don't know, and you're using trickery and manipulation to try to get me to buy it. I'm not buying it. Bye-bye. sit down, shut up, and learn, and I'll teach you a little something about me. Now that would be respectful. Then we could actually develop a relationship.
This is telling lies. This is a very common situation for those dealing with narcissistic people, and so I wanted to address it on the show. If you have a narcissistic loved one, chances are you are familiar with narcissistic lies. They lie about big things, they lie about small things, they lie for no reason at all. As a friend of mine's dad used to say, they'd lie if the truth sounded better. This is very frustrating because it's hard to have any kind of a relationship with someone if you can't believe anything they say. You can't trust them and you can't depend on them. Honesty is a cornerstone of intimacy, so it's no surprise that, as narcissists are pathologically afraid of intimacy, they would have issues in this area. Narcissistic people lie for a few reasons. Some are the same as the reasons most people lie, and some are not. They might be trying to boost their own false image. They might be trying to get out of trouble or avoid responsibility. They might be trying to be contrary, or it might be that they simply have a different truth today. Sometimes it seems that truth is a convenience to pathologically narcissistic people, and that can often be the case. But it's also true that to narcissists, feelings are facts. Therefore, their truth is defined by their mood. That's one reason they seem to contradict themselves so much. One day, their job is the best thing that ever happened to them, and they couldn't love it more. The next day, something happened that discouraged or upsets them, and it's the worst job ever. They may deny anything good about it. They may deny ever saying that they loved it or ever even feeling that way. This is because the way their brains work, they can't, quote, remember good things when they're upset. Narcissists have a very hard time taking a complete view of something. They are often unable to view both positive and negative attributes of the same thing at the same time. It's one or the other. This is sometimes called black and white thinking. It isn't that they're telling lies exactly, it's that they're just not able to see things the way that other adult people do. Now, there are some times when they are definitely lying on purpose. They might lie for sympathy or to make themselves appear to be something that they're not. We've all known people like that. They brag about things that aren't true, or they make up tragedies that didn't even happen. Some narcissists lie about abuse for these reasons, either pretending that what happened to them was much worse than it actually was.
That stuff's not there, but technically, if you actually have these conditions, different personalities are not something that happens just because they want attention. It doesn't happen on your time or clock or desire.
Well, she claims that there are outside triggers, but the triggers, again, are when it's convenient, when it's in a time and a space, when she can allow herself to go into a seizure. I don't believe that that's how a seizure works. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I don't believe that's how it works.
Did you do any research about it? Did you look it up?
Oh yeah, I just did enough to realize it was all BS in my mind. So
okay.
Pretty much all.
And so everybody who really wants to find out and investigate like us, you're more than welcome to look into seizures as well and put two and two together and see what you find.
I forget about that.
Don't be nervous, it's okay.
Did I ever mention about the situation with Fallon, where he felt like he was in an impossible situation with Winter? Like, even when he was trying his best to take care of Winter, it was like a competition. He wasn't paying enough attention to Teal, so it was a no-win situation for him. He'd express that frustration on an occasion. So it's just odd. I mean, that's a typical narcissistic trait, is that, you know, parents are often into competition for attention for their children. I wonder if that's something Sardines is running into.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. Hopefully he sees this video.
Who are on the highest vibrational level, looking at this planet, the person who added to peace more than anyone on this planet is Hitler. Because no one was thinking about world peace until he came along.
I mean, isn't there something wrong with Hitler, aside from the fact that we don't like him, which might be a projection of some quality within us? But, I mean, intrinsically, wasn't the guy sort of bad apple?
Well, on a you want me to give you the universal perspective? Hell no. He was exactly what everyone had asked for.
He propagated, and these are some dangerous ideals that she's putting out there. It's no different than Hitler's catalyst for peace. I mean, and suicide. I mean, people don't realize that there are real, very real dangers for taking her advice.
Well, even the guys that watch that, or young boys that watch that, and they think, okay, so I need to be domineering and rough with a woman during sex, and so that gives a terrible example for them as well. So it's really creating viruses psychologically. However, speaking of Hitler, he has done some videos as well regarding Hitler, but tell me what you... Well, regarding Hitler, but tell me what you... Or you've already told me, but...
Well, it was just the idea that she seemed to be pretty well versed on him. Studied him, and she claimed that she had endured Nazi-style mind control. So her abuser was, she said, very familiar with Hitler and his regime. So, I mean, that part of it was kind of strange. But then the references that she would make as far as he wasn't bad, he was a palace for peace, he caused the most expansion in the universe, basically from the total polar opposites, from the desires of the people because of all of the torture and suffering. The desire that was spawned from that was one of the biggest in history. So basically, she was singing his praises and trying to find a revolutionary way to look at him. And I just kind of found it all disturbing. And I just point blank asked her, "What's the deal? Are you and Hitler like friends? Do you hang out in the ethers? What's going on here?" And she didn't like it. She just kind of was like, shook her head at me and left it at that. But it was just, that is the impression that I got. Nobody else seemed to really be overly concerned with it. But there was just some things there that it's odd. It's an odd preoccupation with Hitler.
Very disturbing. So imagine younger generation of if Teal had her way with kids singing Hitler's praises and saying, "No, that was a positive thing. That was meant to happen for our human awakening," which I don't see any human awakening here. I see signs of human decay and, like you were saying earlier, cognitive dissonance more and more, to the point that not only, is rape encouraged, but if the kids try to tell their parents or these violence occurs, no, you're not being positive, no, I don't want to hear that.
Oh, I love this. And that anger is actually how to get people to pay attention and keep you safe, that they're going to do what you need them to do.
They're not. It's kind of sad when you think about it, actually. Being so uncomfortable with and rejecting of yourself that you have to pretend you're somebody else just to be able to live your life or just to feel like you have value. It's really a shame.
But it's not the obvious question, why is she not being prosecuted for this? Blink, blink. I mean, why is the obvious so cryptic for New Agers? It's like the elephant in the room could be just defecating on top of the heads of believers, and they would call it rain.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain.